I want to talk to you about the ID Watchdog versus LifeLock versus IdentityForce. And so here's a review I want you to pay attention to. So I want to first start with ID Watchdog. So when you think about ID Watchdog, I want you to think about identity theft protection at its best. Okay, this is a service that actually focuses on a scoring model in which customers receive notifications about suspicious activity related to their social security number, their name, and personal information. So, although not seen as one of the leaders in the industry, what we love about the ID Watchdog is that it's actually really tied to a pretty reputable company, Equifax, and we love the fact that they have a focus on the financial impact of ID theft. So that really is great in terms of giving you the like an overall picture of your financial situation. Okay, so when you actually sign up with ID Watchdog, you have 3 bureau credit monitoring. Now, this is only offered on the premium plans, but it's still worth it anyway. You have fraud alerts. That's really important. If ID theft protection is your priority, you want to have fraud alerts. You got to have that. You have a credit lock single. So this for Experian or a dual bureau. So you have Experian and TransUnion. They don't do Equifax as of yet. And you have a financial account monitoring. You have so when we talk about financial accounts, we are speaking about your bank account, so checking accounts, savings accounts, your money market accounts, a CD. You have your HSA, your 401k, and so on and so forth. So the brokerage is kind of important, as well as prime loan and high risk transaction monitoring. So that's kind of cool in terms of the flexibility here. So when we talk about ID Watchdog, we love the fact that this service provides daily credit scores using the Vantage Score model, one bureau only though. And you have up to $1 million in identity theft insurance, including $1 million in stolen 401k or HSA funds. And you have very proactive digital security, including a VPN, safe browsing tools, and password manager. So this is kind of cool in terms of giving you flexibility. So those are the pros. What about the cons here? Well, the 3 bureau credit monitoring and reports are only available on the most expensive plans. There is no free trial. And so because this service is associated with one credit bureau, you only have daily credit score is monitored. The daily score monitoring is limited to one bureau, not all three. Okay. And that bureau is Equifax. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. You are going to enjoy today's conversation. So when we talk about ID Watchdog versus LifeLock versus IdentityForce, how much does this service really cost? I'm talking about ID Watchdog. Now the thing is that basically ID Watchdog offers two plans for both individuals and families, with the family plan allowing you to add one adult and up to 4 minors. There are some cases where they will accept an extra minor, so there will be five children. Okay. And so when we talk about ID Watchdogs, you have two plans, as I said a little earlier. You have the ID Watchdog Select, and then you have the ID Watchdog Premium. Now, everything depends upon how complete, how deep, and how broad you want coverage to be. So ID Watchdog Select provides basic identity theft protection and credit monitoring services, and they'll charge you about $15 per month individual or $25 per month as a family. And then you have the ID Watchdog Premium. This actually is the best of the best if you're really concerned about your security. Let's say you're concerned about your identity theft protection, either online or offline. So this service actually provides us comprehensive identity theft protection and credit monitoring services, including 3 bureau credit monitoring with near real-time alerts. So they're charging you about $22 per month if you are an individual, and $35 per month as a family. Now, the big question here is that should you go for the Watchdog Select or the Watchdog Premium? It really depends. If you are actually, if you're contemplating a very sort of sensitive transaction, like applying for a mortgage or applying for a high amount loan, then you want to go for the ID Watchdog Premium because basically, if there was a data breach, if there was a little problem, this will have a huge impact on the loan terms and the conditions. Boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about ID Watchdog versus LifeLock versus IdentityForce. Let me talk to you now about LifeLock. And LifeLock is actually a service by Norton. And basically, LifeLock is one of the most well-known names in identity theft protection. And they've been doing this for years now. I mean, in some cases, even decades. And it has the service is great because it has a long history and connection with Norton 360. And so what we love about the LifeLock is that it allows you to lock and unlock your credit score and other related sort of metrics at ease. And LifeLock uses the Vantage Score scoring model for credit monitoring and credit score tracking. And by the way, Vantage Score is the scoring model that all the three credit bureaus actually developed. The other one is the FICO score that was developed by the Fair Isaac Corporation. Okay, and so when we talk about the LifeLock from Norton, you get a lot of stuff. You have identity theft monitoring, you have credit monitoring, but this is only one bureau on standard plans. You have identity theft insurance, and then you have financial account monitoring. So when we talk about financial accounts, we are speaking about everything about debit and credit. So checking accounts, savings accounts, money market accounts. We have a certificate of deposits, HSA, 401ks, and on the credit side, you have loans, lines of credit, you have credit cards, and so on and so forth. Okay. So when you think about LifeLock from Norton, what are the pros and cons here? The pros first. You have extensive identity monitoring, including social security number, dark web scan, and social media monitoring. So if you have an extensive, if you want extensive coverage or extensive monitoring of your Pinterest, your Instagram, your WhatsApp, your Facebook, if you really need that, Norton could be a great candidate for you. You also have all-in-one protection with Norton 360 digital security tools for an additional cost, of course, including VPN, password manager, and antivirus. So those are some of the pros. What about the cons? You have 3 bureau credit monitoring and other financial protection services are only available on the highest priced plan. So this could be a bummer for some people, but hey, it is what it is. You have second year renewal rates are 30 to 75% higher than the initial price you paid, and you have many essential features are only included in the more expensive plans. Talking about more expensive plans, let's talk about how much does LifeLock really cost. And I want you to look right now on the screen. This gives you a clear idea about I would say the array of prices you need to contend with. You have LifeLock Standard, LifeLock Ultimate Plus, and LifeLock Ultimate Plus for adults. Ultimate Plus for an individual, and Ultimate Plus for adults, for 2 adults. Okay, so you can see that the price is pretty. It's going all over the place. You have $750 per month for the first year, and then basically that's if you pay for if you have annual billing, and if you go monthly, they will charge you about $12 a month for the first year. And see, they actually have told you it's the first year because the prices go up afterwards. It's only the first year. So when you analyze LifeLock prices, you have that in mind because this can be very, very this could be a little annoying if you realize that they're charging you way more. So the biggest aspect to note here is that LifeLock's pricing plans significantly increase after your first year of service, making it an expensive choice in the long term. And so you have Standard, Advantage, and Ultimate Plus. Now the thing is that what really works for you depends upon the level of security that you want to have, and also the type of guarantees that you are expecting. Okay, it's one of those things where you have to think about. For instance, when you think about the Standard, you are looking at 1 bureau credit monitoring. Okay, if you think about the Ultimate Plus, you are looking at 1 bureau credit monitoring, but you are getting more sort of coverage because they are extending the area of monitoring for you, of identity theft monitoring. The Ultimate Plus, basically here, this is the top tier. This is for 2 adults, and here you are having the most comprehensive list of features, including 3 bureau credit monitoring. So this is kind of extensive in terms of giving you the whole 9 yards, if you will, and especially if you need that kind of protection vis-a-vis your credit monitoring. Boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about ID Watchdog versus LifeLock versus IdentityForce. Let me talk to you now about IdentityForce. So when we talk about IdentityForce, I want you to think about a service by TransUnion. And so what they do pretty well is that they offer 3 bureau credit monitoring on some of their premium plans. So that's called the Ultra Secure Plus Credit Plan, and this is actually the most expensive plan. But the cool thing about IdentityForce is that when you choose them, you will get access to your credit score based on the Vantage Score 3.0 model, the same thing that LifeLock gives you, the same thing that ID Watchdog gives you, as well as information on your TransUnion credit report, because IdentityForce is owned by TransUnion. You'll also receive notifications when your credit score changes, and when there are suspicions. If there are some suspicious changes to your accounts, or signs, let's say, signs of compromised data, you'll get the notifications. And so you also get with the IdentityForce Ultra Secure Plus plan, you have bank and credit monitoring. This is really cool. You have credit similarity tools. You have public records monitoring. You have digital security tools for PCs. So that's really fantastic. What are the pros and cons of IdentityForce? Let's dig a little deeper so we have a clear idea about this provider. The pros first. So you have a service that's directly connected to a major credit reporting agency. So that's really helps a lot, because if you were to go with a new player in the industry, you might actually have to go through a few instances of trials and errors, which you do not want to have with your identity. So the white glove fraud resolution support is available at all tier levels, and the VPN and credit score simulation tools are included. So that's really cool in terms of giving you extra peace of mind. What about the cons here? Some of the cons. Well, there is a higher price point than other services, especially if you want 3 bureau credit monitoring. And fraud insurance coverage amount varies depending on the membership tier, and there is no money back guarantee. So it's one of those things where you have to ask yourself, are you looking for a service with money back guarantee, or are you comfortable just trying the service and start paying for it right away? So talking about paying for the service, and so how much does IdentityForce really cost? Okay, you can see on the screen here, it says pretty clearly that identity theft could actually, basically you get that protection for as low as $19.90. So we are speaking about $20 a month. Okay, now IdentityForce actually is pretty transparent in terms of its pricing. If you actually select your level of protection, once you actually become more granular in terms of the level of protection that you want, the price will adjust, and you will see clearly how much you will have to pay. So IdentityForce actually offers a family and individual plans. However, the pricing for families is only available by phone, so you have to contact IdentityForce. So they really want to really make sure that you are interested in the product before giving you the info. So when we talk about IdentityForce plans and pricing for individuals, you have Ultra Secure and you have Ultra Secure Plus Credit. So Ultra Secure, they will actually charge you $17.95 a month if billed annually, or $19.95 per month if billed monthly. So but with the Ultra Secure, there is no credit monitoring included. So if you need that, then you want to go with Ultra Secure Plus Credit. They're charging you $23.95 per month, and here you have 3 bureau credit monitoring. And again, going back to what I said earlier, this is the kind of service you want if you are working on a high impact transaction, like you are applying for a mortgage, or you will soon apply for a high amount loan or high amount line of credit. Bottom line is that what we have seen in our research is that IdentityForce sometimes will adapt its pricing policy based on your geography. So if someone is in Rhode Island versus somewhere in California, the things are different because the risk of identity theft protection, I mean, the risk of identity theft is higher. I mean, at least could be seen as higher in California versus Rhode Island. I mean, this is what we have seen. So they charge you based on the geography in some cases. Long story short, before you actually do anything, contact them so you have a clear idea how much they could charge you if you were to go with them. Let me give you the overview here. So when we talk about ID Watchdog versus LifeLock versus IdentityForce, which one should you go for? But before I answer that question, it's really important to understand that whether you go for LifeLock or IdentityForce or ID Watchdog, you want to have 3 bureau credit monitoring because you really need to understand. 3 bureau credit monitoring offers one of the only ways to receive alerts quickly about the many possible dangers impacting your credit score and reports, from missed payments and incorrect information to fraudulent accounts, loans, and lines of credit that scammers have opened in your name, right? So it's really important to understand that many free and even paid credit monitoring services only monitor your credit report with a single credit agency, leaving you at risk of missing the early warning signs of fraud. So, but it's important to really understand that when you have 3 bureau credit monitoring, you have peace of mind. And so it's really worth it. You really want to have that. And so you will be alerted to all changes to your credit reports, whether the lender or a credit provider reports them to all 3 bureaus or just one. So tracking your credit reports from all 3 major credit bureaus is essential because each bureau carries different information, meaning fraudulent activity may appear on one but not on the others. Okay, and it's one of those things where you have to really be clear about what really works for you. And so when we talk about what kind of profile needs 3 bureau credit monitoring the most, we are speaking about the past victims of identity theft, victims of recent data breaches, anyone who doesn't plan to monitor their credit on their own, and folks who are constantly trying to make sure they are getting the right decision for themselves and also their families when it comes to identity theft protection. So when you think about ID Watchdog versus LifeLock versus IdentityForce, which one should you go for? And what we have seen is that this is actually a pretty interesting scenario because this is a tie. We don't have a preference here because it really depends on what you're looking for. So ID Watchdog is cool in terms of getting data from Equifax. IdentityForce is great when it comes to getting data from TransUnion, and LifeLock is great when it comes to identity theft protection across the board. So depending on what kind of activity is important for you, what kind of scenario is important for you, you might want to choose one over the other. So, but those 3 players are they're fairly well priced in our view, even though LifeLock is slightly above in terms of pricing. But this is a tie, and everything depends on what you're looking for. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. Today, I just finished doing a quick compare and contrast between ID Watchdog, LifeLock, and IdentityForce. Thank you so much. I hope you actually enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.